Yo everyone, so today I'm going to be showing you my sleek eyeshadow palette collection. It is pretty extensive and I'm going to have to go through these really quickly. Just to let you know, basically Sleek Makeup is a UK based makeup brand, and they have gone from strength to strength over the past couple of years. They were initially started up, they were actually based in London. They were started up as a company that was geared more towards women of colour, because there weren't that many brands at the time when they started that catered towards people of my skin tone and darker. So their products are very pigmented, and obviously people of all skin tones use their makeup, but you will never have any problems if you are a dark skinned lady trying to find a blusher, for example, that shows up nicely on your skin and that sort of thing. You would always go to Sleek. I believe they do ship internationally, and I do believe that they have grown in terms of their reach and their awareness over the world in the past couple of years. But obviously, as they are based in the UK, I'm based in the UK, I live in London, I get all the new collections coming out every other month, and I have slowly grown my Sleek eyeshadow palette collection over the past couple of years. But obviously I've got quite a few. They're called Divine eyeshadow palettes. That's just their like actual name. And then what Sleek has is they've got like their standard eyeshadow palettes that you can buy all the time. It doesn't matter when you buy them. And then you've got the limited edition ones, and the limited edition ones aren't like MAC, for example, where they sell out in 5 minutes. They're normally available for a couple of months after they first release, and then they disappear. So you've always got the chance or the opportunity to buy them if you want. They're also very cost effective. They're affordable. They cost, I think, like £7.99 or £8.99. I'm not sure exactly, but they're under £10. Sometimes they come as part of a collection. For example, you get the eyeshadow palette, you'll get a blusher and a lipstick or something like that. Or sometimes they just bring out the eyeshadow palettes alone. Okay, just like with my lipstick tag, I've never obviously counted because I don't do that sort of thing. I've just counted how many I've got. I've got 25 palettes. Now these, as I've said, I've bought over the past couple of years, and now I'm going to go through them very quickly. Now all I have to say is that Sleek, if you're worried about the quality and that sort of thing, I would have to say that initially I never used to buy them because I used to find their eyeshadows very powdery and they didn't last as long, and the palettes would finish quite quickly. And I'd say that they've changed a lot in the past couple of years. They've listened to their customers, which is an important thing for any growing company, and the quality of their eyeshadows have got better and better. Now, firstly, I'm going to show you a couple of the ones which you are still able to buy now. They're like almost part of their original kind of range, and this one happens to be called Original. Now, what I've done is a lot of my eyeshadow, because the thing is the palettes are like in this standard black casing, quite sturdy, straightforward and practical. Now, because they're all like that, it can be very difficult to try and find which one you want. So what I've started to do is this. I've started to use a, what's it called? A silver pen to write on it just what they are. It does say on the back, but the thing is, the way that I've got them stored is I've got them stored like this. So they're all like stacked like that. So I need to be able to kind of flick through them almost like a Rolodex to try and find which one I want. Anyway, this one is the original one, which is obviously the first one of the first ever ones, and it's full of shimmery shades, and the only one that is matte is the black one, and it looks like that. So they have moved on a lot since then, because obviously now you don't just get just shimmery shades. The Oh So Special palette, and this one is very much a brown and peachy nude kind of palette. Really nice mix again of shimmers and mattes. And by the way, they've also got their own little names on them related to the palette. So then this one is a big favourite of mine, the Storm palette. And I have done a couple of little sad little drawings because I'm just sad like that. Obviously with the Oh So Special, what could I do? So I just wrote it. And that one, this one, it looks like this. As you can see, I've hit pan on one of them. Some of them can be quite buttery and quite creamy, so they get used up quite quickly. And what Sleek always used to do beforehand is they always used to have a matte black. They've kind of stopped doing that so that you've got a variety of shades, because the amount of palettes that they release, I mean, I've got 100 matte blacks. How many do I need? This one is definitely one of my favourite palettes, and that is the Sunset palette. And it is full of golden, warm, beautiful shades. And it looks like that. And I love the fact that they've stuck a pop of blue at the end. And the funny thing is, I think I've only ever used it once, but it's nice with the whole sunset and you can imagine a beach and that sort of thing. So I really love this one. This one cracks me up, as in my drawing, the Bad Girl palette. What the hell is that? That looks like it's meant to be an angry young girl. I'm not good at drawing, by the way. I just thought, in case you didn't realise from my picture. And that one is full of dark shades with lots of silvers and icy colours at the top. Love this. This one is amazing for the winter to use. This one, a complete favourite of mine. I took it with me when I went out to Mallorca a couple of years ago on a hen do, and I just took one eyeshadow palette, and it was the Acid palette. And the thing is, obviously it was one of those places, so I was always wearing bright clothes and bright makeup, and this one is definitely a must-have for those of you who want to have something bright, really. I mean, even the blues that don't look so bright, they're really, really bright, so I would highly recommend this. Obviously, as I'm saying now, these are limited edition ones. You may still be able to get some, you may not be able to get others. The newer ones, I'll tell you which ones you can probably get. This one of my favourites, and I remember it came out about 2 years ago, around the time of my birthday in September, and it is the Nude collection, from the Nude collection, and this palette is called Au Naturel, and obviously they've put it on the front of this, so I didn't have to write it, and it is basically full of browns and creams and beiges, and I love this. I think that same year this other one came out with the Mediterranean collection, and the Mediterranean collection was bright. It came with a bright blush and that sort of thing. And this one palette is called Monaco, and it looks like this. Really gorgeous palette. Another one. The limited edition ones, I would always say get them, because the thing is, they're not even that expensive. They don't cost that much, so what are you really losing out on, you know? Oh, another one which I love, this collection. I remember doing a YouTube video on it. You know what? I will link it below and you can laugh at it because it was a few years ago and I look totally different. It is from the Avoir la Pêche, or Pêche, however you pronounce it, collection. And this one was called Paraguaya. So this one was very much orange based collection. And again, I love this palette. Gorgeous, gorgeous palette. Use it so many different times. Pale peaches, pinks, oranges, vibrant oranges, and a bit of brown so that you can get some crease definition in there. Then the same year as the Caribbean, oh sorry, the Mediterranean collection was the Caribbean collection. Again, a very bright one. I can never pronounce that, so you guys can tell me how to pronounce it. I've tried it before. I've never been there. It's one of the Caribbean islands. And this palette is, as the name suggests, bright, bright, bright. Not as bright as the Acid one. That was next level bright. That's neon bright. These are different, vibrant kind of brights. Another gorgeous, gorgeous palette. And then this one, I can't remember when this came out. I didn't get the Sparkle 1 collection. This one is called Sparkle 2. And basically, it was a palette, obviously, for Christmas. And all full of sparkly, shimmery shades. Really gorgeous. I didn't find the sparkles really stuck that much to the lid, so a little bit misleading maybe. There are some shimmery shades like the silver one, which is super in your face like shimmer. But other than that, it's an okay-ish palette, and I think this one came out last year, end of last year, I can't remember exactly. Shangri-La eyeshadow palettes for the Shangri-La collection, like that. One is called Respect, and the other one is called Supreme. And Supreme looks like this. Greens, blues, olives, like that. And then Respect has got browns, black, some orange and some pinks in it. So you've got a nice mix between the two palettes. One called the Showstoppers Palette. Now this one came out earlier on this year, as I remember, and it is named after various different palettes which have previously been released and some colours from them. So for example, there's a shade called Sunset, there's one called Paraguaya, also special. So they're shades that came from those named palettes. And it looks like this. It's an okay palette. It's nothing amazing and nothing special, but a nice to have. You may still be able to get your hands on it. I'm not sure, but I did get it this year. This palette I love, and my drawing is not that bad. You can tell it's a camera, right? It's a Snapshots palette, and I really like this for the summer. Reminds me a lot of the Caribbean Mediterranean collection palettes, but really nice mix of mattes and shimmers and iridescent shades, pale shades, as well as vibrant, bright shades. collection, I remember doing a video on it and I love this collection. It's the Candy collection and this was called Eye Candy. And it came with a blush. It came with a Blush by 3 palette, which I love, but not as much as this palette. I really love these sugar sweet kind of shades. And it looks like this. And it's got really cute names as well, like licorice, cream soda, bubblegum, bonbon, strawberry sherbet, blue fizzle. I really like these names, they're really cute. And this palette, 2002 collection called Glory. I'm sure you guys know, unless you've been hiding under the rock, a rock even, that London hosted the Olympics in 2012. So as a result of that, Sleek brought out this palette and they named all of the colours after, how do I explain this if you're not from the UK or if you're not from London? We have the London Underground system, the trains, the tubes, we call it the tube, and now each separate line has got its own name. For example, the Central line, the Circle line, which goes in a circle. The Central line just happens to go right through the middle of London, that's why it's called that. District line, Piccadilly line, and on the tube map, each line has its own individual colour. For example, I'll use the one I live nearest to, which is the Central line. The Central line is a red line. So what they've done is they have colour coordinated this for that palette basically. So this one here is the Central line, the red one, and then this one here, the green one, is the District line. So they did that. To be honest, I don't really use this palette this much. I think it is a nice idea that they have, but I don't really think it's as wearable as maybe. I think I've used more of the top shades, and those ones are called Overground, Bakerloo and Jubilee, because Bakerloo line is actually dark brown. That's not dark brown. And this one is actually meant to be grey, but it's like a silver. Anyway, so this one wasn't okay. It's more of a collector's item, I suppose, for if you live in London. Another double palette one that they did was called the Ultra Mattes. So this one is Ultra Mattes version 1 and 2. And just to make it clear, one is a dark palette and one is a bright palette. I just wrote those extras for myself so I knew. So the dark one, again, because it's Ultra Mattes, they are all completely matte, which was awesome because Sleek had never done something like that before. And it looks like this. This is a palette which I've used loads and loads and loads and loads of times. A really, really awesome palette. I know the colours don't look anything amazing. And then this one, which I've probably used less, is the bright one. And you will see, because the colours are obviously very super bright, you can't necessarily wear them all together. Sometimes you have to wear some from the other palette to wear one of the shades with this. But yeah, I'm not sure if you can still get this one, but have a look on Sleek's website, the Celestial palette. So all names like Solar, Astral Blue, Stargaze, Meteoric, Aurora, Galactic, Earthshine, Lunar, and then the colours are there to reflect that whole kind of galaxy, Earth, outside the universe kind of shades. So a nice enough palette, but more of a, I'd say, a full autumn sort of palette. So these are probably the more of the recent ones. Now this one is from the Aqua collection, and it came with a really nice blush, which is a beautiful blush actually, but that's for another video. And this one was called Lagoon, and just all colours in relation to kind of water type theme, even though I don't know how the water is yellow, but still I have got quite a lot of use out of this palette, so it is pretty good. Now this one, Vintage Romance, is probably, I haven't actually got around to drawing on it yet, but Vintage Romance, I would have to say, out of all of these, all of my 25 palettes, this is my favourite one. If you follow me on Instagram, you would have seen the amount of looks that I did on it, especially when I got it. And I just can't get enough of this palette. I love it. I love the names, like Hollywood, Romance in Hollywood, and Propose in Prague, Love in London, Forever in Florence. It's such a sweet kind of named palette, and the colours are really romantic, kind of smoky, deep kind of looking, and they look like this. They're beautiful shades of different types of purples and bronzes and gilded sort of shades. Another one which I've actually used loads, and I'd probably say is my second favourite, is the Garden of Eden palette, and the shades are, as you would expect, greens and browns, and looks like this. So very wearable for lots of people. They've even thrown in a pale pink as well. You can get so many different looks from this, and it is a gorgeous palette. And I suppose also because these are more of the recent palettes, this is also when Sleek have upped their game so much more. I only expect even better things from them as the years continue to go on. Now, the last two palettes are the most recent ones that I purchased, so they are still available now. This one is called the Del Mar palette, and it is, I think they are going to be releasing another one because they wrote volume 1 on the box, and this is all in relation to Ibiza. And all the shades except this one on the end are matte. And then again, if you follow me on Instagram, you would have seen me post this a couple of days ago because I only got it a couple of days ago and it was only released a couple of days ago, and that is the Rio Rio palette. Now, what Sleek also do is they always do these really cute boxes with all these designs and patterns. I really wish instead of putting them on here, they'd put them on the actual box. I've only used this palette once because obviously I got my Amrosi palette the other day and that's just taken over my entire life. So I will get back into using this one again. Obviously, this has been released in conjunction with the World Cup, which has taken place in Brazil. Funnily enough, Brazil were booted out when this actually came out that day, which is a bit sad. I wish, to be honest, I think Sleek should have released this before the World Cup or just before. But anyway, the colours are really, really gorgeous, as you would expect of something which is named after Rio. Bright, fun and vibrant shades. Mixture of mattes, satins and iridescence. Gorgeous, gorgeous palette. And obviously this is still available now because it only just came out this week. So yes, so that is it. That is my entire Sleek eyeshadow collection. For those of you that were interested, I don't think there are any more lurking around anywhere because the thing is, like I said, I store them like this. So I just flick through them. So yeah, so if you're interested in any more of my collections, before I do the big makeup collection video, which eventually I am going to do. I've been promising to do it for ages, but I'm just getting my storage and that sorted out. I don't want to do a video when showing you mess, really. So if there's anything else that in particular you'd like to see of mine, feel free to let me know below. Any more questions, feel free to ask below. Hope you're all great, hope you're all cool, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.